You're listening to ORA, brought to you by Philothea Studios. If you find this production helpful in your journey, consider sharing it with a friend and leaving us a 5-star rating.
Hello and welcome. You are about to listen to a short narrative selected from Restoration, a publication of the Madonna House apostolate. We invite you to listen deeply as the author shares the joys and struggles of living the gospel of Jesus Christ without compromise in today's world. The Blue Jay in the Greenhouse by Mirjana Villeneuve. The following article appears in Restoration in July 2023. It's a risk that comes with greenhouse gardening, but I hadn't learned that yet. When I heard the blue jay's panicked cry as I walked up the sloped yard beside the farmhouse at St. Benedict's Acres, it took me a beat to locate the source. It sounded too close and isolated, and sure enough, there it was, perched on the wooden ledge between the tomato plants and the greenhouse's glass wall. It was not even a foot from the open door. Selfishly, I stood on the other side of the glass just to get a good look at it. I had been living in Toronto for the past 2 years prior to my stay at Madonna House, where the only Blue Jays we have are our baseball team. In the 2.5 months I spent working in the farm kitchen with a bird feeder right outside the dining room window, these bright blue ruffians had caught my attention. Just that morning, in fact, while I was praying by the river before Lauds, a band of blue jays swooped hooting and hollering into the low branches around me. As they flew away, I noticed myself asking the Lord, "What are you trying to show me?" I was sensing that, perhaps, he was using his creation to teach me something about himself and the way he loves. As a former literature student, I'm tempted to call this foreshadowing. And although I'm aware that blue jays are not simply literary devices, I don't put it past our Lord to communicate to me in precisely the way my heart and mind are most inclined to understand. Once I got past my initial fascination with seeing one of these birds up close through the greenhouse's glass wall, I suddenly realized I was staring at an animal that was stuck and scared. I tried to guide it towards the door, but in its panic, it crashed into the glass, and then it went up in a flurry and flew to the back of the greenhouse, where it knocked its head against the far wall. This was now miles out of my realm of expertise. I ran to the farmhouse for help. Andorra was the first person I found, and just the woman for the job. As the herb gardener and beekeeper, this wasn't her first bird trapped in a greenhouse scenario. The blue jay had found a new perch on the beam closest to the ceiling along the furthest wall. Andorra climbed behind the tomato plants and stood on her tiptoes, reaching to guide it towards the door. Its panic rose to a new height. Accosted by the fingers of a woman who was actually its surest conduit to freedom, it screeched and threw itself over and over against the pane of glass until, with a great cry, it fell to the tomato bed. Andorra and I were silent. Braver than I, she gently picked it up. It lay limp in her hands. What does one do with a dead bird? I felt a lump forming in my stomach. There must be some lesson in this, Andorra suggested. What are you trying to show us, Lord? As we reflected on this event during afternoon tea, the Lord put it all together. After all, haven't I often been a blue jay in a greenhouse? Don't I have the tendency to stumble into areas of sin and woundedness, only to crash around in panic and confusion, helplessly searching for the way out? The blue jay was literally able to see freedom from its perch at the back of the greenhouse, open fields and rolling hills, but it couldn't see the obstacle preventing it from obtaining that freedom. All it knew was the pain upon impact with the glass and the frustration from being unable to overcome it. Mercifully, blue jays are not self-aware. Otherwise, had it lived, imagine how it would have started down the bottomless spiral of shame and self-blame that many of us are all too familiar with. I should be able to fly away. After all, look at all those birds out there doing it without any trouble. I'm a failure as a blue jay. When I am deep in the greenhouse of sin, confusion, or despair, and I notice God's large hand reaching for me, how do I react? Do I let him pick me up and hold me to himself, or do I attempt to flee, losing a few tail feathers in the process? Perhaps I'm afraid to let him carry me back out the way I came. Perhaps I don't trust that he will. Speak, Lord, I am listening. This is what I have understood. God desires our freedom, and we are not blue jays. He can see the obstacles preventing us from true freedom, even the ones that we are too little and frightened to see, and He knows how to navigate them. What's more, He wants to help us navigate them. He will do, and has done, anything it takes to keep us from falling to the dirt in exhaustion and despair. And even if we find ourselves at the point that this blue jay did, God can bring us back to the life He desires for us, just by picking us up and holding us to Himself. See Matthew chapter 9, verses 18 through 26, and John chapter 11, verses 38 through 44, if you don't believe me. Before leaving the farm that afternoon, I went back to the greenhouse to collect the tail feathers the blue jay had lost in its fight. I have them tucked away in an envelope because they are beautiful, but also because the next time I find myself surrounded by walls of glass, I want to remember that it's safe to surrender myself to the firm and gentle hands of the Lord, the one who loves and cherishes my life and freedom more than I ever could.
Dear friend, thank you for listening. Rest assured of the prayers of the Madonna House community for you, our listener. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine His face upon you, and may God give you His peace.